Good morning and welcome to the Elevate Renatus team call. Today is Takeoff Tuesday. It's March 2nd. My name is Keely. I am your host and I'm excited to be here with you. Our quote of the day today is, "Belief in oneself is one of the most important bricks in building any successful venture." National conference is right around the corner. We have the dates for that, of course. Make sure you mark your calendar, get your tickets purchased if you haven't yet. The dates for that are March 18th through the 20th. So we've got 3 full days of fantastic training. Yesterday, we had one of our featured trainers actually on the Founders Live, Dino Watt, and I'm really excited to get a more in-depth training with him at Nationals, as well as Garrett Gunderson, Steve Larson, and of course, many other leaders that we have across the nation. So really looking forward to our national conference. For Leaders Retreat, we're going to Cabo San Lucas, Mexico. That is going to be August 20th through the 24th. Looking forward to that. I just mentioned our Founders Live. That is a meeting that we have every Monday at 4 p.m. It's our Renatus Founders Live webinar where we get to connect with our CEO, Bob Snyder. And that's our opportunity to really get to learn any important announcements that might be happening with the company. And also we get to see some recognition and a training of the week. So always tune into the Founders Live so that you can always know what's going on with the company. Those are Mondays at 4 p.m. through the Founders Live Facebook page. Every Monday night at 7 p.m. we have our national study groups. Right now we're making our way through the essentials courses. Also Thursdays, I don't have a slide for this yet, but Thursdays at 4 p.m. Mountain Time, we are doing a national onboarding session, which is somewhat new. So that's exciting. Make sure that you have any of your new guests or new enrollments are going to that onboarding session at 4 p.m. on Thursdays. We have the Renatus Helios app available. Every day there is a new money mastery video uploaded to that, and they are working on it day in and day out to make more things available through the app system. And there's some really great notifications. Whenever a guest checks into an event, you're notified that way. And then also anytime you're earning a commission, you get notified through the app. So some really cool features. Make sure you get that downloaded and know how to locate your access code and give the app 5 stars. Every week on Thursday at 6 p.m. we have our Private Capital Masterclass. That's 6 p.m. Mountain Time. We are meeting with Dane Clark, who is the facilitator. He has had great success with building private capital. So make sure that you're watching your classes and then bringing questions to this masterclass. And you can work with Dane and the other people in the group on how to start having private capital conversations. Every day we have our dream call, the daily real estate action mastermind. That happens right after this call from 9. Sometimes it's 9:30, sometimes we go till 10 o'clock. Those calls are really great. A lot of people are showing up consistently. They're taking action, getting outside of their comfort zones and getting some deals under contract. So congratulations to everyone who's showing up to the dream call. And then we've got our marketing call Monday through Friday from 8 to 9. And last but not least, our Zoom up call with Michael Huggins and Scott Rowe, where they interview a different student every day of the week. So Monday through Friday at noon, those are sometimes 15 minutes, sometimes a little bit longer, 30 minutes, but they do their best to keep them shorter so that we can send these out to our guests and it doesn't take up too much of their time to learn some really incredible stories from our students. Oh Yes, OES is where you can sign up for the optional event subscription for Team Elevate. And when you're a part of the OES, your intensives are paid for, those are covered, as well as you get to attend the dream calls and the other study groups. So do make sure you are aware of what the optional event subscription is. The website does provide a short video that does explain it in more detail. So check that out if you haven't yet. If you're looking to introduce your guests to the Profits Education, you have a great opportunity to do that on Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. with Bob Tierney. Every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Mountain Time, we have our virtual house tour, which is a really great way to introduce your guests to Renatus. So make sure you're tuning in every Wednesday at 7 p.m. We get to learn about all different kinds of acquisition strategies, exit strategies, and all the different classes that are going towards just one deal, which is really, really cool. And then we also have a house tour on Thursdays, but it's offered in Spanish. So on Wednesdays, it's in English, Thursdays in Spanish. Then we've got our Pillars of Wealth intro presentation. We've got our follow-up and funding webinar, a onboarding session, a velocity banking study group, and multifamily wholesaling and short-term rental study groups. We do record these morning calls. You can catch the recordings on our Facebook page, Renata's Team Elevate, as well as a lot of important announcements there. So do make sure you're a part of that Facebook page. And then we also have a YouTube channel where we post these morning calls as well as the Zoom up calls. And we created a playlist so you can just send your guest one link and they'll have all 85, 90 of those Zoom up calls to watch. So do take advantage of those resources. And today is Takeoff Tuesday, so we get to learn from Bill Predebon. But before we bring out Bill, we are going to do our money matrix exercise. So just one moment here while I shift over to that. Get your pens and papers ready. We'll go through this video together and then do the exercise at the end together as well.
This guy lost an arm and not only kept on drumming, he also turned to helping soldiers. In 1983, there was no bigger, hotter, more popular band than Def Leppard. The songs Photograph, Rock of Ages, and Fullin' dominated the charts and the airwaves, and the album Pyromania was in regular rotation on the record players and cassette decks of teenagers across the world. Pyromania went on to sell 6 million copies in 1983 and was only kept out of the #1 album spot on the US album charts by Michael Jackson's Thriller. With the album's massive success, Pyromania was the catalyst for the 1980s pop metal movement that gave birth to bands like Poison and Bon Jovi. And then tragedy struck. On December 31st, 1985, Def Leppard drummer Rick Allen smashed his Corvette into a wall while driving near the band's hometown of Sheffield, England. He misjudged a curve, crashed through a stone wall, and flipped his car several times. Wearing a seatbelt that wasn't fastened correctly, Allen was ejected from the vehicle. He lost an arm as a result of the crash. For anyone else, that might have been the end of his rock star career. He had the mindset that he was going to come back from this tragic accident and drum better than ever. He realized that he could use his legs to play the drum parts on many of his songs. With the full support of his bandmates, Allen set out to have a custom drum kit created and relearn how to play the drums with one arm. His new drums allowed him to trigger the snare drum with the foot normally used for his hi-hat pedals. Just 20 months later, in August of 1986, after a test run at a small pub, he triumphantly returned to the stage with Def Leppard at the Monsters of Rock Festival. In 1987, Def Leppard released the long-awaited follow-up album to Pyromania. The album Hysteria sold even better than Pyromania did, and singles Animal and Pour Some Sugar on Me became the rock anthems of the year. Def Leppard remains among rock's most popular concert draws to this day. Rick Allen's story is one of triumph over tragedy, but his story doesn't end with the amazing story of his comeback. In 2006, Rick Allen paid a visit to the Walter Reed Army Medical Center. What he experienced that day inspired him to dedicate himself to helping war veterans who suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder as a result of incurring injuries similar to his own. As Allen told ABC News in 2012, "I didn't know what my life would be like after that terrible day. It was the darkest time in my life. My desire is to encourage a support system for warriors, destigmatize PTSD, share their stories, and offer alternative ways to pave the road to resiliency and health. No matter what you have gone through, you can use your mindset to conquer and lift the spirit of others." Call to action, mindset. Take 11 minutes right now to consider how you can give back to the community with your talent and experience. How can you pay it forward?
All right, so I'm going to set a 5-minute timer and we'll take a few minutes to write down your thoughts on the question on the screen here. All righty, our timer is up. All right. Hang on a second here. Okay. Today is Takeoff Tuesday. We get to learn from Bill Predebon. Bill Predebon has been in this business for many, many years, going on 10 years now, if not longer. Correct me if I'm wrong, Bill, and has a lot of experience to share with us. He came from a place where he was in a very deep hole and he needed to pull himself out of that. And thanks to Renatus, he was able to do so. Bill was a pro skier in Vail, Colorado for many years and decided or realized that he wasn't really qualified to do much else and needed to look into other income opportunities. He learned about owning stores. He owned a couple of Play It Again sports stores, got into the franchise world. And due to lack of knowledge, he ended up losing everything with that business. So then he learned about real estate investing, and this was around 2007. He became a realtor, became a lender, and also got into investing. And he ended up during the crash in over $400,000 of debt. And he needed to pull himself out of that. He actually wasn't educated at the time and found Renatus after that situation. And thanks to Renatus, like I mentioned, he was able to pull himself out of that situation. And if we fast forward to today, now Bill has completed well over 150 deals. And I'm curious really what that number is. I wonder if Bill's put a tally together, because we've been saying 150 deals for a couple of years. So I know that he's well over 150 deals. He has grossed multiple 7 figures in real estate. And not only that, Bill is a phenomenal marketer. He is on the PIT team in training to be on the President's Advisory Council with our CEO, and is helping change people's lives by getting them introduced to Renatus. So I am very excited for what Bill has to share with us today. Make sure you take notes. Good morning, Bill. How are you?
There we go. How about
Hey,
now?
you're there. We see you.
Awesome. I am fantastic. How are you doing?
Doing great. Thank you, Bill.
Cool. I'm just checking out my different views right now. Thanks for that introduction. Yeah, I think I started, I saw Renatus for the first time in the end of 07. And then I started investing, or I started getting into my deals in 2008, I guess, after I got married and all that stuff, 07, and was still trying to be a loan officer and a real estate agent, and trying to find the money to get started. Yep. So I guess it's been 13 full year, 08, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. I've been investing for 13 years.
And would you, if you could guess how many deals you've completed, what would you say?
Well, I would say that I have averaged wow, at 15 deals, that's 195. So I don't know, 175, 12. What's 12 times 15? 180. Because there's been a few years where I've done like 6 or 7, but most of the years I've done like my first year I did 13, my second year I did 19, my third year I did 24. I was doing a lot in the early years, the first 5 years. Some were small, a couple grand here and there, a couple pro bono deals I did for people, a couple tax liens were happening at the same time. Couple subject twos that I did that were real easy, quick deals. So, and now over the last 5 years, as you guys know, I've done a lot more buy and hold stuff and a lot more larger projects with that are taking a lot longer to get done and sell, but with bigger profits. So, so I've kind of adjusted that. So that's why I would say maybe 175.
Awesome. Very cool.
Oh, Frank, I wish I could wrap my hands around you and just hug you, brother. All right, so this was a great exercise. Does anybody want to come out? Anyway, before I say that, you guys, we're gonna have some interaction. I got some questions for you. So, Keely, thank you for what you do. I don't know if you folks know, but Keely's been kicking some serious butt, and not just in anything, but in everything. So she's upped her game, and I'll tell you one of the things that I believe that she's doing is she's just studying to be a better Keely. She's taking on self-development. She's taking on mentorship. She's listening, learning. She's honestly doing a lot of things that Michael Huggins did. So, even if it took you 4 or 5 years to decide to do some of the things that Michael Huggins has done, would it be worth it given the results that Michael's got? You can answer your own question there. So, but one of the things I'll let you guys, is she's busting her butt for her first couple of deals. She played full out in the 10-day challenge. She stepped up and is taking a much larger leadership role than just this announcement every morning in the Elevate team, nationwide, growth of Elevate. And then she's also taken a serious step forward in her business as well. Has many recent enrollments as well as ICM signups and stuff like that. So every time you hear from her in the morning, you guys, you're learning, you're following someone great. So Keely, congrats to everything you're doing.
Thank you so much, Bill. Thank you.
Yeah, it's an honor to be introduced by you without question. I appreciate everything about that. So cool. I'm gonna try to get some interaction from y'all, and yeah, you're getting some good kudos out there, good love out there from everybody on the team. So and by the way, everybody, just FYI, the majority of the people on this call are familiar to me with their faces and names and stuff like that. You're obviously all also, really stepping it up and really taking charge. I've seen all of you in the 10-day challenge. I've seen all of you working on your business and being a part of this every day that I plug into other people's calls. I see you guys there as well. So you're all doing some pretty cool stuff. So keep it up. Never learn to quit. Awesome. All right. So does anybody want to first come out and just, give me 90 seconds, give or take, of your experience and your mindset that might be able to pay it forward or help out the community?
I would volunteer at Habitat for Humanity again to get my mindset towards service and not profits, because profits come after you serve. The more people you serve, the more you earn. So if I get my mindset towards making an impact in the community and helping first-time home buyers, it gets my mind towards helping the people first, and then the profits will follow.
So that's a great point. I got a question for you, Enrique. Thank you for sharing. So I got to tell you, when I got started, like I heard that BS all the time, and I was like, "That's the dumbest thing ever. I can't. How the heck am I going to go serve and then get my mindset right, and then hope that the law of attraction actually works?" It was a bunch of hogwash, in my opinion, because I had a bad mindset. Can you share with me how you believe that this to be true, that if you serve first, all the gurus talk about it, all of our mentors talk about it, and obviously we know it to be true.
Well,
how do you help?
It gives you meaning for your work. It gives you like the sense of a higher calling, like you're making a difference. It's a call to arms. So finding meaning in your work makes it that much more beneficial, to you, to your sense of merit. So me personally, I feel that way. I think everyone, if they find, a cause or something that they find that is important, it will definitely motivate them to succeed and to push hard and to be a better person, to be a better business person as well.
I like that. I think if I could, exactly what Enrique is saying, not what I'm saying. If I had to go back, if I could give anybody advice in the beginning when things are tough, I wish that I would have spent more time giving my time instead of trying to work in so hard to and working so long hours to make it work. I think that you're right, Enrique. If you plug in and give back, even when you have nothing, meaning financially, you can't just write a check, but you have, even when you don't have time, right? That's even when we don't have time. We got 2 jobs, we got a family, we're a single mother, whatever it is, and we're busting our butts. The last thing we can think about but man, if you can spare that time and sacrifice that time that you really don't have, I can imagine the universe will pay you back in spades.
Yeah.
Good comment, Enrique.
Thank you.
Awesome. Who else? Anybody else want to share one?
Good morning.
Yeah, go ahead. Hey, Cinderella.
I pray everybody's doing well this morning. I just have a brief moment. So in short, sometimes, we grow up innocent and we love fluently. And so we flow. But then life happens and you have trauma, like the musician had that trauma. And your love stops flowing, your giving stops flowing. And so then you want to be like replenished and, or you want to be fixed, but nobody can fix you. You have to fix yourself from the inside out, like what he did. And I'm kind of all over the place. And then there's like, if anybody knows the story of Moses, how God told him to go to Pharaoh. He didn't have it within him. So sometimes what you have to do is borrow other people's beliefs and other people's esteem and insight for what they believe in you or what they see in you, and just move forward. So how can you move forward? Because you don't want to give with the need of expecting something back to repay you, to fix you. So if you just give to give and let the universe bring it back to you, then you won't be disappointed.
Let me ask you this. So I hear you saying, you use the word "you" a lot, and I know that that's a commonality. I don't know if that's just a certain way of expressing what you're trying to say. Hone this in.
It's me.
Be a little more specific and talk about you and what you want to do or could do in your mindset and your talents to give back to the community and then help your own endeavors.
What I can do is I'm in a few Facebook groups,
okay,
and they always say give more than what you take. So
Perfect.
It's just to be able to fluently give without looking for anybody to come back, and then let people who naturally attach to your energy, then you can share even more with them.
So I love this. When we take accountability and we hone that in on what we can do, Cinderella, that is perfect. You're in Facebook groups. You have some gift that you can give. You have some mindset that you can give. You can make comments, answer questions, give advice, and not expect the same in return. And I think that's fantastic. I mean, that doesn't kill your pocketbook. It doesn't kill your time for your family, but it allows you to feel good and use your mindset and your gifts to give back. So I think that's exactly what I wanted to hear, and I think everybody else needed to hear. So that's perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I was squirreling all over the place, but you got me back on point. Thank you.
Perfect. No, they're not more. Yeah, I'm the king of squirrels, I think. So we're going to jump into a training here in a second. Let me ask you guys this on this training we just did, this Woody Money Matrix. Well, does anybody want to come out and tell me how your Renatus business can fall or play or connect to this matrix, to this particular challenge, if you will, this concept of giving back and using your talents and your experiences to give back in helping the community through Renatus. Anybody? You there?
Hey, Bill. This is
Hello,
Keo.
Jim.
Yeah, how are you?
I'm great.
So as you know, my experience has been that I came through a tragedy in my life as well. And the Renatus opportunity and community have really transformed my life and where I've gone, you know, and in that I've been able to help my friends along the way to join our community and to transform their lives as well. So it's been, you know, for me, it's been not just life changing, but life improving. And I don't know where I would be without it, but I'm really thankful that I have it because, you know, in the last, just from the real estate business, I've done now 43 deals in the last 2.5 years. And so it's pretty exciting. And then I get to share that with my friends. So I have friends that join our community and invested in the education so that they could also do the same thing. And it's really gratifying. And then we've been able to give back to the community in real estate in other ways too. So it really touches home with me as far as what this man was able to do with Def Leppard. And I just think that if you have the mindset that, you know, you're going to overcome whatever obstacles there are, that you can do that. And I think that our community really has a lot of that idea in their mind. And I really like being here with like-minded people.
Yeah, you pretty much nailed that, Keo. I couldn't agree more. Thanks for sharing. That's 100% of what I'm talking about, folks, is that number one, we've got to help ourselves first before we can help others, right? And so Renatus gives us a couple different avenues to help ourselves. But as Enrique was saying, when we help others, the money will follow. So Renatus has the opportunity where even if all we've done so far is invest, as far as we think, which is invest in the education, and we've started studying it, perhaps we've even taken time off, you know, that investment, I talk to my wife all the time about people and different perspectives of 20,000, 23,000 bucks. And it's all over the place. But that step alone that you made, no matter what your financial situation is, I don't care if you have, you know, 5 different resources that you could cut a check from, or if you have no resources and you had to go borrow it from friends, family, and government to get started, you still made a decision and you still invested and you still took a risk and a chance and all of those things. So you've done something far greater than you can imagine. So I guess what I've heard from Keo, and I'm not sure what you guys heard, but is that Renatus enables us to have an experience that we've had, have a mindset where we're working on our mindset, and we know giving back is the best thing we can do. And, you know, no matter where we are financially or mentally in the game of Renatus so far, we're always up improving and everything. But at any given time, we can reach out and help a community member. We can share this word, and selfishly we keep it because naturally we don't ever want to look stupid. We don't ever want to feel bad. But do you ever feel bad or look stupid if you go to the food bank, if you go to the humanity place to build a house and you can't swing a hammer? Do you ever feel stupid? No, you feel good. We always feel good whenever even if we give $2 and it's our last $2 to the guy on the side of the street or the girl on the side of the street. We don't ever feel dumb because we're holding up traffic, because we're giving. But yet somehow, some way, we associate with us sharing Renatus' story and sharing the Renatus opportunity with feeling bad, feeling guilty, feeling whatever, when we've got to be able to help ourselves before we can help other people. And so we're helping ourselves by helping other people. We have to reframe this opportunity and how we share it, which leads perfectly into this training. I don't know why my screen's a little slow today. Okay, that was awesome, powerful. You're getting some great comments, you guys. I love the comments. So I'm going to ask you a quick question. Thanks for sharing, Keo. And then we're going to dive into a little bit about, this is like, it couldn't have rolled better, because I'm going to talk a little bit about Mark Kohler, the intensive follow-up, or continue on with what Michael was talking about yesterday, but with a little bit different perspective. But it's exactly this mindset. And I'll tell you, I don't know if you were on the webinar yesterday with Dino Watt, but the guy's pretty solid. That's the first I've ever heard of him. That's the first I've ever heard him speak. I don't know anything about him. And I was fairly impressed. He actually had a tonality and a vibe that was very similar to listening to Bob Snyder speak. Bob Snyder sometimes can speak, in my opinion, far and above anybody that I've ever trained with. And so I felt a pretty good connection there with him being very similar to that. but I'm going to talk to something I picked up from him yesterday. If you get a chance, go watch that recording on Facebook Live Founders Webinar. So is there anything, does anybody want to come out and answer this question for me? If, I look at the number of people, there's 60 people, which thank you very much for being here. And we've had up to 100. I know that Michael draws a little bit more. I don't know. Sometimes, is there anything for your value? You spent an hour with me on a Tuesday. Is there anything I can do in my training, in my discussion, in my offering, that would benefit any of you as a whole? Maybe you see it from a different perspective more, a different way I can approach it, a different training I could do, a different attitude I could have, or anything. Is there anything I can do for you guys that would help convey my messages and help have you interact, or is everybody, or are you guys happy with the conversations that we have on?
Hey Bill, you do a great job, brother. I love listening to you every day. And the only reason why I don't comment more because I'm usually working, but I had to chime in for that one. If I come up with anything that I could recommend, but I like the way your topics and everything. I mean, I'm satisfied. If I come up with anything that I could help you out with, I'll definitely will, bro. I appreciate you, Bill. So,
well, I appreciate that, Bobby. You're awesome. I know you're at work all the time, and that feedback is great. And you're right. Any feedback you guys can give me, I'm always open to it. So that's perfect. I love having you here, man. I love our conversations. So I appreciate it. Awesome. Anybody else? You don't
Bill,
have to say
you're doing such a wonderful job. So thank you so much. I got so much, out from your meeting, and I'm sure a lot of people do too. So thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your knowledge. Thank you for your, all the nuggets that you share with us. So grateful for you. Thank you.
No, thank you. And I promise I wasn't fishing for compliments, folks, but you guys can keep coming. I'm just kidding. But I was honestly, I just want to make sure that I swear to God, you guys, sometimes I lose sleep over it. I don't ever want to waste your time. And I know that I'm not wasting your time, but you know what I mean? I want to, when Bob Snyder talks, I highly doubt that he ever is concerned on whether or not he's bringing value. But I'm not Bob Snyder, and I just want to make sure I'm bringing value to y'all and not wasting your time. So that's all. If you had any feedback, Keo's last name is Keo Jones, and so that was just a quick comment in there.
Hey,
awesome. Yeah, go ahead, Doug Cook. I appreciate you.
So yeah, when you said that, I'm glad you're asking for some input. I really respect you. I love listening to you. You are so down to earth and so real. I really appreciate that in you. And I guess the thing that crossed my mind when you said that was, you're kind of a role model for many of us here. I'm interested as to how you keep yourself motivated and how you structure your day. You're doing deals, you're bringing people on board. So if you could, maybe enlighten us a little bit, I think for me personally, I think that'd be very helpful. How do you structure your days? How do you set your goals? How do you, I don't know, am I making sense?
No, absolutely. This is a great question, and I appreciate it. I appreciate the kind words as well. So every day is different. The number one thing I do is I like a little bit of a routine, and I'm not much of a routine guy. I'm pretty spontaneous, but I got to walk my dogs every day, and there must be something about walking my dog. So if you get up and walk, or get up and read, or get up and do, and I don't read, as you guys know very well, but I understand the concept of like the work week. I understand the concept of setting your schedule, and I'm terrible with schedules. I have like 4 of them. I actually have a Google Calendar that's all over the place that I forget to use sometimes. And then I have a written calendar, and then I have like a little rocket book I use for notes. It's just a disaster. But I do at some point have a routine, and I get up every morning and I walk my dogs. And so my calls, I made a commitment to these calls, as you guys have. And that helps me set a routine, is my call. But when my day, and imagine you guys, if you have a job too, one of my old friends from the old days of the first company, he worked at, he had an MBA, and he was a finance manager at Intel out here in Chandler. And he had come from Utah. He's a Mormon as well, and became a very good friend of mine. And he would make his team calls and his prospecting calls in his car on lunch hour, literally for 45 minutes at a time, and carry a bag lunch. He no longer went to the cafeteria with or out to eat with his colleagues. And he did it for a couple of years, and he ended up having an $80,000 a month before he quit his job. And so, you know, for me, I started to definitely have what I'm not very, I put in marketing calls for an hour each day, and I don't get to it. It is definitely negotiable time for me, and it shouldn't be. But what I do is in my car, when obviously the properties will dictate where I need to go, just like your job dictates where you need to go. That's my job. So I have a job flipping houses, and depending on the day and depending on how many houses I have at that time and the stage that I'm in, right? If you can imagine, most houses take most of my time in the beginning when I'm finding them, getting the money, closing on them, and things like that. So those days are a little bit busier. And then once I get the trades up and running, even if it's a simple fix and flip or a big framing job, it's pretty easy. And then at the end, like right now with 16th, I'm at 16th every day. So I know I have to go to the glass house and double check all the work and get people paid and get people done and constantly call to schedule. I don't have to check up on people on the framer during a 10-day framing phase because I know that they're there framing. I mean, I'll go check on it, but once in a while. The other thing I got to do is I got to make sure I fit in the gym. Now, the gym I can move around, and it could be anything for you. It could be your kid's school. It could be your kid bringing go to one of your kids' events. It could be whatever you guys have in your world. But I have to get to the gym every day, and so I'll move that time frame. But I will tell you guys this: when you add things into your schedule that are of value to you that don't have to do with work, you know, it could be family time. You know, it could be the gym. It could be whatever it is. And you, even though it's a little flexible, you still want to get it done. The gym gives me, yesterday I was so stressed. I was so busy. It was crazy. You know, our pit pack call was 2.5 hours. Then I had other calls before I even started my workday. And I'm going to double check. Okay. Yeah, we got time. Okay. So, and anyway, going to the gym in the late afternoon grounded me. And then I did a 5 o'clock call from the gym, a follow-up call. That was a really good call. And, you know, was able to ask for the sale on multiple occasions, asked him where he's going to get the money, told him about the 401k. He's got plenty of money in different places, and put a deadline on when we're funding it and getting the order placed this week. And so I was a lot more focused because I wasn't all over the place and stressed. So those little tiny things help me. And the other thing I do, you guys, is, you know, I honestly, from 2008, I don't listen to the radio. I only listen to audiobooks in the gym. That might be a thing for you, is reading at a certain time of the day. But in my downtime, in between jobs, in between business, in between work and traveling, I don't listen to the news. I don't listen to the radio. I make phone calls and texts, and don't text and drive like I do, but definitely make calls. And I have a multiple notebooks in my truck, and I will use that time to make my prospecting calls and just touch base with my team and touch base with anybody and everybody that is in my sphere of influence on a regular basis. My constant communication with people develops my relationships with contractors and with my prospects and with my team. But it started, I'm going to move on to the next thing here, but this is a great question. It starts with a decision I made in 2016 to make this a full-time business in the marketing. And if there's anything I know and anything I can assure you, that if you commit to talking to people, and Dane Clark talks a lot about conversations. Obviously, that's what this call is every week, all day long. During this call is marketing, but we're gonna adjust the marketing right now based on Mark Kohler, and this comment is that your marketing, if you believe that you want to do more real estate, I don't know of a better way to do more real estate than to market the education. I honestly do not know a better way to enhance your real estate than to build your team. Because I know you've heard this 1,000 times, but it cannot be any more simple than this. The people that are interested and that will actually enroll in the education are bringing something. Oh, every one of you has brought something to the table, and at some point can or will or has already gotten into a deal with somebody else in some way, shape, or form. Even if you brought insight, knowledge, some sort of trade that you offer, you will, because everybody coming into Renatus is interested in real estate at some point. They're not 100,000% green. They've considered it at some point. They have equity in their home. They want to invest money. They want to invest time. They want to invest their skill set. They want to invest. They know people with real estate. They started wholesaling. It will grow. It will grow your business. So if we reframe, for example, this is what I got from Dino Watt. Dino Watt said, and I'm as guilty as this as anybody, is that why do we go to events? We go to events so we can benefit from them. We go to events so we can get around the people that are, mentors to us, that are where we want to be, gotten where we've gone, looking, paved the path for us, can train us, teach us, learn us, do all of these things. We want to become them. We want to get where they've gotten. We want to have the success they've had. All of those things, right? And then he said, we forget that we're also that person as a mentor, that we're there to help other people. Like, we are there and somebody is looking up to us. You have taken a step that other people haven't taken. You are, the minute you decided to be an entrepreneur, invest in Renatus and all those things, you're a leader. You guys may not even have a single ICM on your team, but you're damn well a leader, and you're on your way to becoming a leader. A bigger and better leader, and somebody is looking up to you. Somebody at some point looks to you and go, holy crap, you spent 20 grand? That's ridiculous. And they're curious how you even did that and why you would have even done that, even if they're not going to tell you that honestly. So I found it incredibly amazing that, Dino was like, hey, he said, if we think about why we're there not only to improve our game, but we don't even realize the influence we have on other people in improving their game, and they're looking to get to where we are. So I have many people on my team that are on the fence for nationals, and I'm blown away. And even my pitch to them, or my explanation, has typically been, you want to grow your business, you want to improve your financial, all these great things, but I even forgot to mention sometimes in point blank that, hey, there's people on our team that are looking up to you, and if you're there, they might go. And then imagine if you could give back by just showing up. So with that, we'll talk about, great question by Doug. I hope that helped a little bit, but I can follow up with that next week, and we could actually spend some time on that. Here's the deal with nationals and Mark Kohler. Mark Kohler's coming up this week. I want to ask somebody, can anybody come off mute? And I've said this a lot, but I don't even know if it's true. Is anybody here that has a W-2 job, after watching Mark Kohler, gone to your HR department and changed your tax W-9 status to exempt, or increased the number of dependents that you had originally? So most of us, if we're single or are married, we have 1 or 2 dependents. If we have kids, we put in 4 or 5, depending on how many kids we have. Has anybody gone and changed their W-2 before they've ever done a real estate deal or made a dollar in Renatus, or even whatever it is, and just to recap some of the taxes they're saving on the IRS? Has anybody done that?
I've done that, Bill, for me and Dave.
You did that in the
Yes.
beginning?
Yes.
Okay, so just by being a sole proprietor, before you even started, or while you were starting your LLC, you were in a W-2 job, and then you went to the HR and said, holy crap, I can apply my losses for my business, my startup costs, to my W-2 job. If I'm going to start taking deductions on my W-2, then I can reduce the amount of IRS taxes that I pay every 2 weeks on my paycheck. Is that what you did?
Yes, yeah. Because I've noticed, because we did get a lot of refund at the end of the year, like when we file our taxes,
Right.
We got a lot of, money that we get back. I'm like, well, it's instead of them keeping it, I'm going to keep it. So that's what that's what I did. And Dave did too.
So I love this. So one of I just renewed, my leases come up at the end of March. So I just renewed like 5 leases, and whatever, if you want to do something today for yourselves, imagine yourself collecting rents. If you're not already, and if you are collecting even more rents than you are, there, not including our Airbnbs, my cash flow from my rents is, my wife and I, after debt service, is like $5,000 a month. And I just increased my rents by 10% on 5 different doors. And one of the girls said to me, she goes, well, I'm going to move. I want to go month to month. But I'm waiting on my tax return to move. And Keely did that too. That's perfect. So I'm going to touch on that. So my point to this is that the mindset for Mark Kohler is typically, and I'm not speaking for everybody, but I'm speaking for myself. Number one is, I'm like, it's a Saturday all day long on Zoom. Forget that. I've been doing this for so long. I'm frustrated. Holy crap, I'm going to plug in, but I'm not really going to plug in. I'm going to be able to go do some things. So it's kind of negotiable. I don't need it. I have the education. Totally get it. But if you take it from a mindset, and I don't care what you guys do, because this is not for you. This is for the other people. If our mindset can be, right, we think about it's $50 if we're not paying the OES. B, we've got to invite someone. And most people don't have the time of their day to spend a Saturday on Zoom. And are they really going to pay attention? And all of our limiting beliefs are going to come up, which is totally natural and it's totally cool. And I'm right there with you. So the interesting with what Dino Watts said is that I can't imagine that there is the majority of people we're talking to, W-2 or 1099, business owner or not, that will not benefit from Mark Kohler. And the problem is we owe it to these friends and family that they see this information. So our mindset should be giving back. This money matrix is like ideal for today, is that if you could create a text and almost copy and paste it, where it is sending it out. And Michael Huggins said this the other day, and like accosted, right? I think that's how you say it. I don't even know how to spell it. Accosted. The IRS is accosting your money, right? They're stealing their money from the W-2 employee. And the majority of people we're talking to are W-2. And it's a scary thing. We're not giving them advice to go out and go change their exempt status. But what I'm saying is, if you could create a text that says, listen, what would it be like, but through a question, what would it be like for you to honestly consider a 20% raise every 2 weeks with your paycheck? What would you do with that money? And then you follow it up with a solution. And you could create the text anyway, and you just start to send it out. Even if you sent it to 15 people or 20 people, and 19 of them don't respond or don't give a crap. But the one person goes, holy crap, and then they go. Do you know the odds of them closing somebody at Mark Kohler? It's so powerful. And now with the comp plan, you guys can make money, whether you're 1-star, 3-star, 0-star, or 5-star. You can make a ton of money through our comp plan. And Mark Kohler and the introduction presentation that they're going to do on Saturday is going to project these people, propel these people into a combo. And so there it is. Deborah says, confiscating our hard-earned money. And that's very true. So if we could change our mindset and pretend like, you know what, I'm doing community service this week. My community service is to the ignorance of the general public in a W-2 job. We need W-2 jobs. There's nothing wrong with W-2 jobs. There's nothing wrong with them working where they are. All of those things are great. But if you read the stats, the majority of people are not happy in their job. The majority of people are living paycheck to paycheck. The majority of people don't have much more reserves than 2 weeks of reserves. The majority of people need more money. The majority of people don't love paying money to the IRS as much as they do. And that's just one element of what Mark Kohler teaches. And he's going to talk about side hustle. He's going to talk about, so much value that Mark Kohler can bring. And we literally do not invite people for our limiting beliefs to Mark Kohler. Folks, do something different this week. Pretend like you have a mission of charity service, community service. Your community is a community outreach program. The community outreach program is to share a message that was shared with you. It has nothing to do with you. I don't care if you go to the intensive or not. In fact, you don't even have to go to the intensive, unless you want your guests to see you that you're there participating. The intensive is for the guests. The intensive is not for you to learn. The intensive is for people to test drive the incredible opportunity that Bob Snyder has put together. They're going to understand ISD because inside of even our intensives, we implement ISD. Number two is you're going to see the depth and the experience and the quality of the instructor, the heart and soul of these instructors that you don't see at an everyday seminar. You're going to see the quality of our education, the updated, the relevant, up-to-date information that Mark Kohler delivers. You guys know he's on top of it like Chris Wilson is on stats. Like he's there. And so all of these things they're going to be able to experience, not to mention the community and all the stories. By inviting somebody here, you will understand that they will deliver the message, and all you have to do is the community outreach. All you have to do is offer the opportunity to people through your text message. Spend a few minutes developing a really cool text message question that you can copy and paste to everybody, and send it with no regard. Send it with no, oh, this is perfect for them, or God, I know he's not going to do this, or no prejudgment. Just send it as if you're giving a gift, as if you're giving out charity, and your whole entire week is charitable work this week. And you could change your life and somebody else's life by doing this. Cool. Any thoughts, comments, or questions on that? I got almost like 8:59.
Will you talk about the app and how it's?
Yes.
Thank you.
I'll end with this. I just did this, and I'm ignorant when it comes. I could share it on my phone. All right. All you need to do is log into your app. When you log into your app, I did this right before we talk. I have my app up on the phone. You go to the 3 bars up in the corner, which is your menu bar, your menu drop down. It's going to pull up your name. It's going to say account. If you don't have the app, get the app, right? myrenatus.com, get the blue app. It's, blue. I don't even know. I'm colorblind, blue and red or yellow or orange or something. I don't know. Maybe
go to your app store and get the app.
Your app store, but it's a cool little round circle Helios app. And then under my account, there's my name, and then there's my little code right there. I have a broken screen. I'm going to get a new phone today. And my little code. And look at over to the right-hand side over there. There's a little share button. All right. The share button's right over here. Right. Trying to get that right there. There's the share button. And when you push the share button, check it out. It'll allow you where to share it, just like all your other share buttons on Facebook and all that other crap. So this morning, I was texting a few people and I shared them my app, which as soon as it's the link to download the app. When they download the app, your code's already there. They're already connected to you forever. They're registered to you. So you could text this app after you send your Mark Kohler text. And guess what? They can freaking stream Mark Kohler's intensive right here on their app, on their phone or their device, anywhere. And you can let them know that. They don't even have to go to a desktop and do the forgot password thing on the myrenatus.com. They can do it right here, or they're going to have a new password, which the password for the app is the same password for the desktop and the laptop. Boom, you got a client. You guys, I promise you this. This is a true story. I had several people go through the 10-day challenge. I had somebody go to the guide, watch the thing that Keely told me where it was, watch the graduation. Sunday night, I get a text. He didn't even tell me. And he placed an Epic order all on his own and is funding it this week by watching the guide and downloading the app and going. I didn't even tell him where to place an order. I didn't even tell him to do an order. He just placed the entire thing because he wanted to get it in. So he gets the bonuses. And I have an Epics combo that was fully 100% cash combo this week based on the 10 day. And he's just a friend of mine. All through this app and through being connected, literally. So you guys, this stuff works. You don't have to do it all, but you have to understand it yourself and then just deliver the message. So look at your app, open it up today, make your little text message, follow the app up, send the app to them, and then follow it up with your beautiful text message, and they can stream the whole Mark Kohler right here all day long and let them know you've got some flexibility, you've got some options. But once you give me a promise that you'll spend 1 hour in the morning watching it at least after the introductions and after, they're just the get to know me Mark Kohler thing. Let them get into a little bit of content and have them commit to that for you. And I guarantee they'll probably end up watching the rest of the day. You guys, you're awesome.
Yeah, Michael Huggins also went over that yesterday. So if you guys want to look at the recording yesterday, he showed his screen.
Gilda, from yesterday, there's been an update. So everything that Michael talked about yesterday is now much more simple. We no longer have to have them do that whole process. So what Bill is saying is, instead of what we talked about yesterday, it's going to be much more easier or much more simple. So,
Yep.
so do not
Yeah,
go
the
back
whole
and watch
point is
yesterday's.
we didn't know
That's
until
going to be
yesterday
confusing.
call. They've updated the app where you can live stream in the app. So you only need the app. That's the whole
Yes.
key. And by texting them your text, and they download off your link from your text or your email or your Facebook message by sharing your thing. As soon as they download the app, they're instantly coded to you. They don't even have to put in your code.